I said you should take screenshots of what you filled when you were opening your profile. Because welcome back to the channel, guys. As you can see, I'm dressed because I went to drop my friend off at the train station. She came to see me. Why not film the final part of my how I relocated to Canada video, because next week is another grind. I'm going to be too tired to actually pick up a camera and film, and your girl is trying to be consistent. So yeah, here we are. Before I continue, you guys, so I got, I think, 2 questions in my last video about like my process and everything. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the questions was how long did it take from ITA to getting the process approved. And if you keep hearing a sound, it's the dryer. Okay, it's working. So yeah, it's just going to be making a very annoying sound. I'm sorry. So somebody asked how long it took from my ITA to the process being approved. It didn't take long, you guys. That's where God comes in. I'm not even going to keep lie. I'm not going to say there's anything I did, okay, to make my process faster, because you guys, like, people waited years, months for their process to be approved, for the application to be approved. Mine took just, because I think I submitted my application April, and by May I got my application approved. So it took me roughly 3 weeks to get my application approved. And it's crazy because the process to like gather all my documents took me, you guys, it took me a while, like up to 3 years. But once I submitted my application, it took me just around 3 weeks to get it approved. Thank you, Jesus. Because you guys, I'm not even kidding, like that was a miracle. Because I have a friend, we started the process together, and she literally just came to Canada, I think like a couple of months back. Meanwhile, I've been here for like 6 months, right? So yeah, that was good. So yeah, where did I stop? I stopped when I got my ITA. So when you get your ITA, okay, there are some things you need to do. Number 1, you have to do your medicals. Number 2, you have to get police clearance. You have to get your, number 3, you have to get your reference letter from your employers. If you claimed points for 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 5 jobs, 100 jobs, you need to get reference letters for the ones you used to claim points. What else? And then your proof of funds, obviously. So this is why you need to be careful what you fill, okay? Because during the process of putting together your application, that's creating your express entry profile, you answered some questions. So based on what you answered, right, when you get invitation to apply, they'll give you a list of things that you need to do according to your case, according to your specific case. So that's why you need to be very careful what you fill on your profile, because you don't want to go and fill something out that is wrong, and then you are seeing, maybe you said, oh, you worked at an oil company, and now they're asking you for reference letter from that oil company, and meanwhile maybe it was just a mistake on your part. So you need to be very careful what you're filling, because when you get ITA, you get a list of documents that you need to present for them to now, you know, go through your application, check everything you have filled, and then decide to give you the permanent residency, right? Okay, so I think the first thing that I did was that I did my police clearance. As usual, there were delays as per usual, like, oh, to make it to be faster, to make it to come out faster, or you need to pay money and this, that. I honestly cannot tell you guys the process, because you guys, processes are changing every single day. But my own time, yes, I needed to pay for it, and yeah, it came out, it was ready. And then the second thing I did was my medicals. So that one, I think I used IOM. I forgot the name of the other one. I used IOM, and you know, I booked for a slot. I got a slot luckily a couple of days after I booked. I made sure, because I was still working, so I made sure that everything aligned to when I could go for my medicals. So yeah, my medicals didn't really take time. People say that Abuja is better, but the thing is, when they give you a time, you literally have to be there. Like, you have to be there, because these people, they can move mad and they will say, oh, your time has expired, so you cannot enter. Like, just imagine. So try and be there on time, don't waste time, be there very early, especially because people are traveling, so you can't even imagine the number of people that will be there waiting to enter. Luckily for me, I didn't really have any issue. I went at the right time, and yes, I did my medicals. Like, I was scared now, you know, I was scared, like, medicals, like, God, though, I've never had any issue. I was scared, but you know, thankfully, everything was fine. My issue is my eyesight, so the guy was even advising me to get my eyes checked, and I did. And yes, my medicals was okay. I think I got my results a couple of days later, although now I'm hearing people are saying they're waiting for their medicals results like weeks. I don't know why, But I got my medical results a couple of days later. And then what else did I need? I went to my employers, I asked them for reference letters according to the IRCC standard. Okay, according to the IRCC standard. Don't just get any random reference letter, because I think they require you to have how much you were paid annually, your roles, and something else. I think the amount of time you worked, like per week, how many hours did you work per week, you need to include that in your reference letter. So yeah, I did that. And what else? Yeah, reference letter didn't really take time. It didn't really take time because, like, what is the big deal? I told my employers, this is my plan. So I showed them the example of, okay, this is how I want it to be, and they did it according to their own company standard while keeping in mind the IRCC standard, thankfully. So I got that one done. What else? Proof of fund. Okay, yeah, I think the person also asked about my proof of funds. So you didn't understand what I said. So basically, I was saying that obviously my proof of fund is big money, right? Big money. So I was like, a little worried, but thank God for provision. So I was able to get my proof of funds. So the thing is, when you are on the pool waiting for them to invite you, you don't need your proof of funds. You can be gathering it, right? So I think there are 2 or how many ways to prove your proof of fund. I think number 1 is obviously your income. Let me say the proof of fund is like 1 million now. Your income, your bank statements, whether from your business, from your job, it has to show how you got that 1 million. You have to prove how you got that 1 million. So you would have to bring like documents from your bank to prove that, okay, this is my income and it allowed me to be able to save enough for my proof of funds. Or you can do gift deed, which is what I did. So my father, by the grace of God, was able to come up with the proof of funds, and yeah, I did a gift deed. I had to go to a court for them to do some legal things to, like, oh, okay, he's dashing you the money, like he's saying, take this money, go and start your life. So it's my money. It's now my money. It's no longer his money. So he did that for me. That was one of the things I had to do. So yeah, when you're on the pool, you don't really need to have. You can start saving, but if you know you're not going to use gift deed, start saving for your proof of funds as long as you need to. Okay, but if you're doing gift deed, you don't need to. You just need to prove that the money is yours and it's in your account. Okay, and I have heard. Go and do your own findings. I've heard that you should not use microfinance banks. That's what I heard. I don't know. I didn't use microfinance. I used UBA. Hey guys, I forgot to mention about my biometrics. You have to also do your biometrics. It's part of the requirements to submit your application. I did my biometrics at VFS in Abuja, and honestly, it was seamless. Okay, I've heard horrible stories about Lagos because people are plenty, but like Abuja was very organized. And I would also say, make sure that you go on time. Make sure you are there 1 hour to your appointment time, because like these people can move very crazy. Okay, and some people would say you should do it at the same time. That's, you can book your medicals and you can book your biometrics for the same day, especially for people that work, but I would say just keep it safe, because you cannot predict anything at all. So just do it on different days, because you don't want to where you now finish your medicals and then you've wasted time and you've missed your biometrics appointments. And honestly, to reschedule and all of that is a whole process that you don't want to go into. So yes, I did my biometrics. I did not so it just took me like maybe 1 or 2 hours and my biometrics was ready. I did have an issue for my biometrics for a while. Okay, so here's what happens. For example, your medicals, hospital, not just any hospital, for example, ION will send your results to IRCC, okay, and if they feel like you're fit enough, like you're fine medically, fine to be accepted, right? And also your biometrics, also VFS is going to send your biometrics to IRCC. So for some reason mine wasn't showing up for like a very long time. Like I kept on calling, but eventually it was fixed. Okay, my biometrics was accepted and everything was fine. Okay, so back to the video. So yeah, I didn't have the money, okay, when I was waiting on the pool. It was after I got my ITA, my dad now did the gift deed and gave me the money. And yes, so it was my gift deed documents that I now submitted. So I got all these things ready: my police clearance, my medicals, my gift deed, my reference letters. I think that was pretty much it. So I got those things ready, and of course I think I still had to fill a little bit, like I think I have to fill some things again, like on the forms online on the IRCC website. I cannot remember, but I filled it. That's why I said you should take screenshots of what you filled when you were opening your profile, because you just want everything to align. So I was checking and everything aligned. Yeah, and obviously you also need to pay your application fee. You need to pay your application fee, you need to pay your right of permanent residency fee. Thankfully, thank God, okay, we paid everything at once. I think you can pay one and pay the other one after, right? Or you can just pay both of them at the same time. Thank God I was able to pay everything at the same time. And yes, fire prayer, okay? Because you need prayer, you guys. Like, it's more than just you can do everything you need to do perfectly, okay, but like some things are beyond your control. You need God to take control, right? So even before I even got my IT, I was already praying for the person that will be in charge of my file, like, God please, God touch their hearts, blah blah blah, you know. So yeah, so you guys, I submitted my application, like I said, around April. Can't remember the day. So my application, trust now, praying, and now is at this point when your heart is just always beating like what. And there are different visa offices. So there are some visa offices that you will hear that, oh, they take time to respond to people, like to attend to applications. Meanwhile, there are some that are like this, they attend to your application on time. So now, trust now, you'll be praying, and we're on a group now. It's so funny how you guys started joining together, but then when you get to the point of submitting your application for approval, like people are on different stages. Like somebody that I was on a group with when we were like, oh, looking for ITA, or when we had gotten ITA, till now they've not even gotten their approval. I mean, I'm now 6 months here already. Can you imagine? So yeah, like this is the point where you just need to start praying to God to just please take control. So yeah, I was still trying to live my life, already planning, saving, working hard, and every day my research on like, oh, okay, I'm going to move here, right? And then I got a mail. Oh my God, I got a mail. They will tell you that don't send what IRCC did not ask you to send. Okay? So I'm like, okay, because that's the thing, you will get different advices, but man, just be sure of what you are doing, basically. So I got a mail, because they will tell you, okay, sometimes you can submit your reference letter, submit your ID card, submit your picture at work, submit your submit, you know. But me, I'm like, I want to keep it simple, okay? So I just submitted my reference letter, and I got a mail telling me that, oh, I should provide bank slips for 6 months of my employment, like the places I claimed points for. I should give them like bank slips, so to prove that I was paid there, to prove that I actually worked there. That's my salary, right? So all of that. And it's crazy because I was panicking, like I was just, because honestly, you don't want to just say anything that will shake you. So obviously I was panicking. I'm like, oh my God, like it's crazy because I literally, it wasn't an issue. All I had to do was just go to my employee, but then it was like because we'll give you a time frame to submit these documents. But then it came, and like I was not able to go to my employers, like, you know, to get this document. I'm like, how do I even start asking them to blah blah blah? Oh my God, you guys. Anyway, thank God for the kind of employers I had. Funny enough, like I wasn't working at one, and I was finally working at one, and literally like business is going as normal. They are not going to stop their business because of I want to travel to Canada. So anyway, they understood, and they provided all the pay slips that I needed. In fact, they even provided pay slips for the entire years that I worked there, but I didn't need to submit everything. So I just submitted for like, I think six months each for the places that I worked. And okay, before I even, okay, they call it what do they call it? Okay, yeah, it's called additional documents required, right? Additional documents required. So basically, they're like, they want you to prove to them maybe that your sister lives in Canada if you're taking points for siblings, or that you actually worked where you said you worked. It's so crazy because I was literally waiting to hear back. Like people on my group, after 2 weeks, after 1 week, they were already getting, you know, passport request. I'm like, how good, like what's going on? Your mind is just going to different places. So that's why I was so terrified and sad when I got the additional document request. I thought I would get my passport request, but it was ADR I got, and I'm like, stop, no wahala. And the funny thing is, I had to call them. I had to call IRCC at different. I was picking times when I will call them. I'll call them today, I'll call them next week Wednesday, I'll call them next week Friday. That's what I was doing. And it's so crazy because it was when I called that they now sent that additional document request. Like, this is not always the case, but because I called, okay, the officer now actually maybe went, because they literally forget people's files. I'm not even kidding. But maybe because I called to remind or whatever, I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but maybe. And then the officer now said, okay, I should bring more documents to prove that I worked where I said I worked. Thank God I called. So, but luckily, my own, that was not the case. When I called, they told me to submit additional documents. And yeah, I went eventually, as literally, I just had one more day before my time expired. So I got my pay slips and I submitted that to them on my application page. And yeah, after I submitted it, I think it took 1 day, 2 days for me to now finally get my passport request. Like, oh my god. It was like, I think the same thing. Oh, very good. It was me. I always used to picture, oh, how will this thing happen? What will I be doing? It was midnight. I went to pee. And then I went back to bed. I don't open my phone when I wake up in the night, because then it's like I'm just awake. I don't open my phone. But that day I'm like, let me just trust now. You're expecting something. You're expecting an email. So let me open. I just saw do not reply. Some a passport request, or what do they call it? Passport request was in my phone. It was literally midnight, you guys, and I was looking at my phone like this. Looking at my phone like, bro, like, I'm like, no, this is like, oh my god, like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so you guys, I got my passport request, and yeah, like, so that night I actually woke my sister up. I'm like, Lucia, that's my sister's name. I'm like, look at this. You guys, it was actually shouting galore. Midnight though. For some reason, my parents were awake in the parlor. I don't know why. I went to show them, like, everybody was so happy. Everybody was so happy. God, I couldn't believe, like, I was in shock. Like, I wasn't even as excited as I thought I would be, but I was just in shock. Like, is this really happening right now? So yeah, I got my passport request. So the next thing was now to still gather some documents and then send to where I used Kenya, because they said Kenya was faster. I sent my documents to Kenya, and in no time I got my passport back with my stamped passport. Like, it was unreal. I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually a permanent resident of Canada now. Are you freaking kidding me? And it's literally all thanks to God. Like, God played a huge role in this process, because I'm like, what, I'm thankful to God for everything. So yeah, that is how I got my PR story. This is the final part. Before I go, someone also asked me if I had masters. No, if you have masters, you would definitely get more points, okay, than if you just use your BSc. So that is why I went to write an insurance exam, just to add to my BSc. If you have just your masters, you don't need to add your BSc and any other certificate, okay? You can use just your masters and you're going to get more points. You get more points for using your masters than if you use just your BSc, okay? So, but I wanted more points, so that's why I wrote another exam. So yeah, if you have masters, good. If you have PhD, even better. If you have your BSc and you have like a diploma, a 1-year diploma, 2-year diploma, you should also evaluate that with West. That will also give you more points. If you have a sibling here, okay, you're also going to get more points. Then what else? If you have a job offer, you don't get points anymore, sadly. They are changing the policies. So anyway, yeah, that is how I got my permanent residency in Canada, and now I've been here for 6 months. And if you guys would like to see a video of how it's been so far, let me know in the comment section. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.